Hello everyone, my name is Ajay Raj and welcome back to my Python tutorial series. In the last video we installed Python, set up VS Code and get our environment ready. If you missed that, the link is in the description below. Today we are going to dive straight into the Python basics. We will learn about printing messages, variables, data types and the basic arithmetic operations. Let's get started. So first of all, let's open the Python folder we have created in our last video, and then go to right click and open with code. So what this open with code will do is open our current working directory in a VS Code. So after coming to the VS Code, let's create a file named Python basics.py. What we are going to do here is write our first Python program. Uh, we will start with a simple line of code to display some text. Let's write print hello world. Let's try to run it. You will see that hello world is print on your screen. Congratulations, you just written your first Python program. Now let's see some example of correct variable declaration. For example, let's take an example, right? We are writing a message and message which we will assign a string and welcome to Python, and we will print message, and we will try to run it. As you can see, the correct variable syntax we will get an output like this. And now let's see what happens when we use an incorrect variable name. Let's take variable name as 123 name equals to this will give an error. Print 123 name. Let's try to run it. As you can see, this will throw an syntax error because variable names cannot start with a number. Let's take another variable. Let's comment it out and let's take another variable name. Another hyphen variable. This will give an error. Print another variable. Let's see. As you can see, this here the hyphen is not allowed in the variable names, and the Python will complain. It will throw an syntax error, as you can see. So let's comment it out. Now here are some cool things about Python. It is a dynamically typed language, means we don't have to specify whether a variable is an integer, a string or a float. Python will figure out on its own automatically. For example, let's give a variable name greeting hello, age equals to 24, height equals to 5.6, is student equals to true. Also, the T is supposed to be capital. Okay, now let's try to run it. See, we are not getting any errors. We don't have to write string, integer or float. Python just knows, and that brings us to our next topic, data types. So in Python there are different kinds of data types. But the main four types of data types which we use in Python are string, integer, floats, and boolean. If we talk about strings, strings are used for text values enclosed in single or double quotes. Example, like if you see the greeting here and the hello, hello is written in a string. Hello is a string value. If we talk about integer, is a whole number without decimal points. We talk about the age here, age is equal to 24. It doesn't have any decimal points, so it's an integer. If we talk about float, float is a number with decimal point, useful for precise value. Example, the height over here, the height is 5.6, which is having a decimal value, so it's a float. We got boolean as well, that stores true and false value, often used in conditional logics. For example, is student is equal to true. Now we will be moving forward with variables. Now the question comes is, what exactly is a variable? A variable in Python is like a container used to store data. It holds a value that can be changed later in the programming. But before we move forward, let's talk about some fun facts. Do you know what is the hardest thing in Python? Naming a variable. Yes, coming up with a good variable name can sometimes be tricky. Now let's talk about variable naming rules. Variables should be start with a letter or an underscore, and they can contain numbers between no space, characters, or spaces. Always choose meaningful name to clearly represent their purposes. Let's see some examples of variable declaration. So let's go here and two, right. Let's take an example of let's suppose we are writing a message. Message equals to welcome to Python basics. Okay, let's run it. Nothing happened. So what we have to do now is print this message. Print this message. Okay, now if you run it, as you can see, we got the welcome to Python basics. And now let's try to let's see what happens when we use an incorrect variable name. For example, let's use 123 name equals to this will cause an error. Okay, let's try to run it and see what happens. So we got syntax error here, invalid decimal literal. So we are not supposed to write 1 2 3. We can just remove like 1 2 3 and that's a variable. Let's run it. We got the welcome to Python basics, and this also means, oh, we have to print the name as well. There you go. This will cause an error. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about string. What are string used for? So basically, string is used for storing and manipulating textual data. For example, if we give we got the greeting here, and we got the hello is hello as a string assigned to the variable greeting. So if you want to find what is the data type of this greeting variable, so what we will do is we will use this type function for getting the data type of that variable. So let's try to run this now and see what's the output. As you can see, the string example hello is type class string. Now if you see the use of the integer value, it is basically used for counting, indexing, mathematical operation without decimals. So as you can see, the age is equal to 25 is an integer value, in which age is a variable and the 25 is the data assigned to that variable. Now if you want to check what is the data type of this variable, we type age. So let's run this and see what's the output. We got integer example 25 class integer. We got it as an integer. Now let's see what is the use of the float value. The float value is basically used for precise calculations such as scientific, computation, distances, or financial applications. Now if we check the type of this variable height, we will see that this is a float value. Now let's move to the Boolean value. As you can see, the Boolean value is usually used for decision making, logical operations, and controlling program flow. For example, the each student is equal to true. If we try to see what's the data type of this variable is student. So let's try to run this and we will see it's Boolean. Now we are moving to our next topic, which is arithmetic operations. Python can easily perform arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Let's see some example. Let's take a number num1 equal to 10 and num2 equal to 20. So addition equals to result num1 plus num2, and we will print the addition result. If we try to run this, we can see that 20 plus 10 is equal to 30. Now let's try subtraction. Result is equal to num minus 1 plus print subtraction. So as you can see, we got minus 10 because num1, which is 10, and num2 is 20. So we are trying to minus the smaller value with the bigger value. So we are getting the answer in minus. Let's try multiplication now. Okay, so we got multiplication is 200. So 10 into 20 is equal to 200. Let's try division. Results, print results. So if we divide 10 by 20 is equal to 0.5. So basically these are the basic arithmetic operations which are performed in Python in our day-to-day life. Now let's talk about comments. Comments help explain your code, make it easier to understand. Python ignore comments during execution. For example, let's take a comment like total equal to 5 plus 5, and then print total, and let's add a comment here. This will print the result. Now let's run it and see what's the output. So as you can see, we got the 10 as an output. So that means that anything we write after the hashtag symbol is treated as a comment and won't affect your code. In the comment, you can add anything. We can add references in the comment. We can add any type of text, character, Boolean value, or whatever we want. We can use string. We can use any kind of thing in the string. Today we have accomplished a lot. Written our first Python program, learned about variables and naming rules, explored various data types thoroughly, performed basic arithmetic operation, and understood the importance of comments. That's all for today's Python basic video. In the next video, we will explore advanced topic like user input and control flow with conditional statement. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Feel free to bring any questions or comments below. Thank you for watching and happy coding.